What's up, guys? My name is Dramatic, and welcome to Fantasy Strike. This game is made by Serling Games, and it's a simplistic fighting game. And I was relatively skeptical because whenever you hear things being made easier or simplistic, the execution barrier being removed, that's not generally a good thing, and the FGC doesn't like that, And people were like, "Oh, his inputs, casuals are gonna have a field day. All they have to do is mash." And even games like Street Fighter V at launch, where it was being, it was being marketed as a game that casuals could easily enjoy because they were removing some of the execution heavy stuff from previous Street Fighter games, and yeah, Street Fighter V is a very easy game to play. It's not an easy game to win, but it's easy to play. And, the FGC doesn't really like that. Same thing with Marvel. People didn't really like the concept of making games easier for casuals. But this game takes it really far. Very similar, well, if you remember Rising Thunder, it does a very similar thing where your specials and supers are single button presses, but this takes it even further because I'll just go to practice and show you. I'll pick a character that I like. Oh, you can't see these two characters here. There's like 3 characters you won't be able to see. Valerie, this guy, and Midori, who I've heard is quite a problem. These are the grapplers. These are the rushdown characters. There are 4 zoner characters. I don't know if I would count them as zoners necessarily. Grave for sure. Her for sure. Geiger's weird, and I haven't tried this guy. But the character I use is DeGray. He's pretty dope. I like him. But let me show you what I mean by this taking it a step further than Rising Thunder did. Rising Thunder had multiple buttons. This has one attack button. That's your attack button. And you get multiple, I think every character has about 3 different variations of that on the ground, where it's if you press forward with it or backwards with it. Every character has 1 special button, or 2 special buttons, I should say. This character's pretty nutty. And 1 super button. And every character, so it's A, B, C, and then the super button. And every character has access to a different version of their specials in the air. For example, he can, on the ground, if you press special 1 or B, he goes into this kind of, what's Slayer's little backdash thing. I can't remember what it's called, but he goes into that, and then he has follow-ups depending on which button you press afterwards. While in the air, he gets this. It kind of reminds me of Takuma's Tatsu from King of Fighters, but it's probably a better comparison. I just can't think of it. And depending on when you press it, I just noticed he kind of has an arc. Depending on when you press it, you can just cancel it after the first one and get like Oki and stuff, or combos afterwards. It's pretty nutty. But as you can see, and I'll just go to the move list. Every character's move list can fit on one screen. That's it. That's all you have. It's very easy to look at that and think this is stupid. This is stupid. Who would play this? Where's the depth? The design, philosophy behind it, from what I've read and heard, is that by removing all the unnecessary things, you get to the core of what make fighting games great. Your zoning, your reactions, your mix-ups. I'm actually still jumping. That was from earlier when I was practicing stuff. And then this game has a very unique health system. It's segments, right? So Every character has 6 health from what what I've seen. I haven't played this game extensively by any means. In fact, I only booted it up for the first time today. Every character has 6 health, and moves generally do do 1 hit of health. Did I not change it? Oh. So that's 2 damage. If I hit once, it's, you know. Actually, would it be 1 damage? Yeah, it's 1 damage if I hit once. So, and everybody's supers, there, from what I've seen, there are 2 types of supers. There are these supers where your character will go green. That's actually a parry. And then it'll go into an animation after that. And then there's just an animation super. This one, he can only do in the air. This character is great, by the way. I like his design. He has this little ghost that assists, and she's like a little trap. And you can use her to set up like really nasty stuff. But I'm getting sidetracked. The point is that it seems like there's not much there, but from the matches I've played, there's a lot of real classic fighting game depth to it, where you really have to think about what choices you're making and when you're making them and what buttons you press. Oh, it also has a very cool something that I thought I would hate, but I actually really like. It's called the Yomi counter, and what that is let's see. If you let go of the buttons when you think you're about to be thrown, you'll automatically tech the throw, and you'll deal damage. Which I was like, what? But I find myself not capitalizing on it, because you have to completely stop touching things. You can't move the directional buttons. You can't mash, you know, an attack button on wake up. So it's a lot more. It's like, do I commit to teching the throw? But what if he doesn't throw? You know, I was fighting a Jaina online earlier, and the mix-up was so real. She has a little, her jumping attack is kind of a down angle kick, and she would do that and then land and then just stand there, and I would think she was gonna throw, so I'd let go of the buttons, and then nah, it's a combo afterwards, fam. And then when I'm realizing, oh, it's a combo, then she throws me, or she get a counter hit for massive damage. And like I said, the way health works, you see the rounds. That's the default setting, 4 rounds. So matches go, or rounds go pretty fast. Well, they can go pretty fast because of counter hit. You can do quite a bit of damage if you punish correctly, you know. And that's where your real fighting game, you know, the fundamentals come into play. Spacing and reactions. Like this button's range is nutty, and it actually says that in his move list. Ground pound, crazy range, as you can see right there. Under normal attacks, it's the, oh yeah, and in the air he has a neutral. That's her throw. She has a neutral attack, and if you're moving forward, he has this kind of a smash. This is actually a really good move to use when infiltrating. I fought another Degrade player earlier that taught me a lot just playing him and seeing what buttons I should be pressing and when, because he's a much higher rank than I am. I'm rank 2. This guy was like rank 67 or something crazy like that. Or when I say rank, I mean level, character level, and player level, which can be raised separate, obviously. But this game is really something special. It really is. And I saw the trailers like everybody else. Was like, oh god, what is this? We don't need any more of this kind of stuff in the FGC. But nah, man, this game is nutty. This game has mix-ups. This game has everything that you would think of in a fighting game is just, and almost because you're so limited, you have to be even more careful. You know, you can't mash jab as an anti-air. You have to pick your anti-airs right, or you just have to take it. You know, and it's very early days in the game. I think it's still pre-alpha, as what they say on the main menu. But I think there's something super special here, and I'm really stoked for more people to try it. I think that people will be very surprised. And I know I'm kind of sounding like the trailers, but nah, this game is pretty good. And you know, I am a Marvel player. That's my main game. So this is very different from Marvel. This is very, very different from most games I've played. It's different from Rising Thunder even, as far as pacing goes. But I don't think different is always bad, you know. And I think that the FGC needs to learn how to accept that every game isn't gonna be Third Strike, guys, or whatever game that FGC likes. I don't know. We gotta accept new games as their own thing and give them a chance, because this game right here. Could I have gotten more after that? I'm sorry. This game right here is nutty. This game is definitely one I think people should keep on their radar and give a chance. It's on Steam right now for $20. I'm not sponsored. I'm not getting anything from this, but I think that if you have an extra 20 bones and you're looking for something new to mash out, this is definitely a cool one. Oh, something I do want to mention. A lot of the animations or the ideas for characters will seem very familiar if you played a lot of fighting games. I played a gang of fighting games, you know. Played pretty much every Street Fighter game that's ever come out, including the arcade game. I got a nasty gal. See me. But I played Marvel. I've played every King of Fighters. I've played weird Japanese stuff like Akatsuki Blitz Camp. I've played a bunch of games, and so a lot of the animations and ideas for characters' moves will seem very familiar. For example, one of the most for me instantly recognizable characters was Setsuki. I think that's her name. This character here, she's really fun, by the way. It's not even the color I wanted. She's really fun. And you will recognize this character if you've played a lot of Street Fighter. You will recognize some of the ideas behind this character. You know, but you know, these things are things that we've seen before, but they're used in such a cool way. This character is busted, by the way. I got absolutely wrecked online, although it was my first match. But look at this. Guys, come on, help me out. No, I'm kidding. But it's really fun, and I think that if you give it a chance, you know, you'll see that it is a real fighting game. I think that we can always use more fighting games because it keeps the big guys, you know who I'm talking about, on their toes with quality, and you know, just how they treat their players. When there's alternatives and people are picking those alternatives, it makes, you know, makes the other guys have to think about themselves, you know, and think about what it is that got them all the fans that they have. And I think that if people play this game, I don't know if they'll, you know, you might hate it. That's perfectly understandable as well. But I think that if people play this game and give it a real chance, this could be a huge game in the FGC. And I think that, like I said, everybody should try it. and you'll find a character that you'll like. I found the Grave very quickly. Actually, my first character was Setsuki. That's the first character I picked in the game when I opened the game. I bought it a couple days ago, and I was like, nah, whatever. I'll come home and play it, and have a laugh or whatever. But I'm actually really enjoying it. Now, moving on past all of that, there are some cons. There are some cons to me, but these cons are fine in the long run because there are things being worked on. As you can see in the top right of the screen, it says pre-alpha in development. It is a pre-alpha build of the game. The game is in early access, and it's still being worked on. It's being worked on actively, from what I can tell. One of the issues I have, and that's just because of the state of the game, it's very hard to find a match. I heard, I'm level 3, hey, look at that. I heard that there was a bug preventing people from matching with players a while back, and they just fixed it on like the 4th. But I have had, in the times that I've been playing it, and it hasn't been that long. Let me, keep saying that. Let me reiterate. I haven't been playing this for very long, but I spend a lot of time waiting for matches, so much so that I'll just click to another program, and I'll keep the music playing because the track is kind of fire. Not gonna lie. While I'm waiting for a match, and it takes a while. So if you're getting into this game now, be prepared. Also, be prepared. The lowest ranked player I fought was 27, like player level 27. So that means that they've played this game a lot. Well, not necessarily, but they played more than me at the start. And the first person I fought was like rank 50 something. So matchmaking isn't all there. That's because game isn't even in beta yet. But I think that you will have a lot of fun, especially if you recognize that, when I lost, I was like, wow, I'm salty. And I recognized they're playing with the same, one attack button and two special buttons that I'm playing with. It's not like I'm not understanding the controls. I can't blame it on anything but myself. My fighting game skills are what made me lose, and that's a very sobering experience because you're so used to blaming all kinds of stuff, lag or whatever. But I think this is something special, and I know I keep saying that, but I really do think that this game is going to be a beast when it's finished. That's for sure. Oh, also there's a little. You see how long it's taking? But again, there's an arcade mode. And there's local co-op, or not local co-op. Excuse me, local versus, which is I haven't tried because I don't have any friends, but I imagine it would be very fun, and you could get a lot of laughs from it. Now, I haven't actually picked this tutorial because I'm an idiot and I like to just jump right into games. First thing I did was went into practice mode, picked 3 characters. I picked Setsuki, who was the ninja girl, Grave, who was the Ryu of the game. He's like that guy with the beard, brown hair, and looks kind of like Hanzo, kind of, but him. And then I picked the Gray. Accidentally, because he wasn't who I was trying to pick. I was trying to pick Jaina, who was right under Grave, but I actually went down and over because I'm an idiot. And then I picked him, and I was like, this character is dope. So I ended up sticking with them. But there's a lot of other characters that I haven't even touched yet. For example, I've heard the grapplers are pretty nasty in this game, and I can imagine because there's nothing to check them. You don't have anything to rely on to check them. You can't mash jab or invincible DP because those things don't exist. There's no EX, no V reversal, nothing. So you have to, if they are going to command grab, you have to jump and get your counter, get your punish. You have to punish properly. Otherwise, you will die. Do you see how long it's taking? I don't mean to keep saying that, but that is definitely something to keep in mind when you are starting this game. Now, look at that. I will be ready to play anyone. I will be watching closely. at the development of this game, and I hope we get to tournament scene because I will be playing this game. That's for sure. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. Talk to you guys later. Peace.